Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to our eighth episode of Conversation with Joe. Today, we're going to receive Jerry Marcellin. Jerry is a soldier, and today we're gonna discuss about how it is to be a soldier in today's life. So, without further time, I'm going to add him on the chat. Hi, entrepreneur. Thank you for joining us today. Hi, how are you?
Pretty good. I say hello to everyone listening to your podcast and happy to be here.
Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us. So before we start, I just wanted to take the time to acknowledge the soldier that we lost this week, and our heart goes to their family, and it was such a tragic event. So I wanted to take the time and mention it. And once again, thank you for being with me this afternoon. And we're
Thank you
going
for
to
having me.
we're going to learn about being a soldier in 2021.
Well, before we get started, I just wanted to add that by no means I'm not recruiting for the
Okay.
military, and I
Okay.
used to be in the military, but I'm not anymore. But I can still talk about what the life was like in the military. So
Got
we
it.
can get started.
Awesome. So to begin, can you tell us more about you? Who is Jerry?
Jared is an old man. I'm 36 right now. And I used to be in the U.S. Army. Now I work for the Department of Defense Forensic Lab.
Awesome. And how did you decide to join the army? What
After
made you
college,
decide?
I wanted to try something different. I wanted to travel. I wanted to see the world. So I decided, hey, why not join the military and do something good? So I did.
Interesting. Okay. And but why the military? Because we have the Navy, we have I don't want to say the wrong thing because I'm not too knowledgeable, but I know we have different branch. What did you choose the army?
I was not very knowledgeable about it. I just chose the first thing that came to mind. And the Army is the biggest branch of the military. So I went with the Army. They're pretty similar, but they have different missions. Basically, the Army is the largest corps in the United States military. So basically, they are the occupying force. If we go somewhere, it's pretty much going to be the Army that's going to be there policing, doing the work. The Marines, they're the front of the military. When something goes bad, they're pretty much the first one to be put on ground to go and chase the bad guys. The Navy provides support. They are the ships, so they pretty much support the army and they carry whatever's too big to fit on the plane with the Air Force. And the Air Force mainly they carry the troops back and forth and supply back to wherever we go.
So you wanted to be like in the middle of the action?
I didn't think that too. Yeah, pretty much. I wanted to travel, but the places the army send you, you're not gonna like the welcoming comedy. It's pretty much like Afghanistan or Iraq or well, I won't say that. We do have some really nice places like in Qatar or Kuwait, Germany. We have nice places. It's not always in the middle of the action.
Okay. Next question, because I remember my reaction because I had a couple of friends, right? Would join, and every time they were telling me they were joining, I had the same action, like, oh my gosh, you're gonna die. So my next question would be, how did your parents and your family, your loved one, everybody close to you, how did they reacted when you told them you were joining?
First, she was okay, but when she heard about deployment, that's when she freaked out because when you deploy, you go basically in the middle of the action, you go to war. She did not like that at all. So she stayed praying, she stayed on her knees, and everything went great.
I'm glad. Thanks again for your service.
You,
Um, Next question. What's the most important thing that you learned so far in your life, and what difference did it make? Like, how was your life before and after you learned that?
well, one thing I learned when I was in the military, and I'll refer to the tragedy in Afghanistan. Our prayers go to people that lost family, to brothers, sisters, fathers that lost a son, and to the people that made the ultimate sacrifice and lost their lives. So that's the one thing I learned in the military is that life is very short. So learning that I did my best to live to the fullest to make sure I had no regret when the time came for me to, if that happens, then I'll pass. I can't say that I lived my life with no regret. Besides not buying Netflix or Amazon when it came out, but I can say I had no regret.
Awesome. And what is your biggest achievement to date?
I have to say my family. Yes, I'm pretty proud of the people, the little people I'm shaping, and I'm pretty sure that I strongly believe they'll make an impact on the world. They made an impact on me, and I can continue to watch them grow and be the people that they're supposed to be.
Yes, you're pretty amazing kids. Okay. And if you could turn back to your 18 years old self, what advice would you give him?
Buy Amazon, buy Netflix, buy Microsoft, buy Tesla. Uh, but on a serious note, I would say find something that you really want to do and go for it because you're gonna fail, you're gonna make mistakes, but at the end of the day, as long as you're doing something that you love, you're gonna have a great life. That's what I would say.
And I know you said that your biggest achievement is your family, but I wanted to ask you besides that, like and I always like I kind of look up to you too as a dad. I like the way you interact like with your kids, and you're a great husband. But besides that, what would you say is the biggest compliment that you receive so far?
Compliment. Let's come back to that one. A compliment that I received. I can't think of anything right now. Drawing a blank.
Okay, so we'll get back to this one. Um, how and where do you see yourself in a couple of years?
Retired, I hope, in 5 or let's say 5 years. I hope to be retired. I hope if you do 20 years in the military, you can be retired and have a pension for the rest of your life. I didn't do the 20 years. I just did one contract. I didn't renew my contract. But in a couple of years, I hope to be stable enough to be retired. That's where I see myself.
That's it. You only see retirement in your future.
Yes, then go travel the world.
Okay. And what advice would you give somebody who's looking into joining, whether it be like the army, the navy, the marines?
Well, I would say do your research. The branches are pretty similar, but they have different missions. So depending on what you want to do, what your goal is, I would say do your research and find out what you really want. With the Navy, you do travel, but you spend a lot of time at sea. Maybe that's not what you. If you do have a family, you don't want to leave your family behind. You might want to look at the Air Force. And I would say joining the military is it's not a bad idea. They do have a lot of benefits. Like for me, they paid for my school loans, and you do have access to the VA loans whenever you're buying a house. You don't have to pay uh, mortgage insurance, and you don't have to pay a down payment if you don't want to. You can choose to pay a down payment, but you don't have to. You can buy a house with zero down. That's pretty great benefit. I use that twice already. So, and if you want to go to school, you don't have money to pay for it, so you joining the military can help with that too. Whenever you're in the military, they pay for your school wherever you want to go, and whatever major you choose to pursue, they will pay for it. They pay for your master's, whatever you want to do. And after you get out, you do have access to the GI Bill. And basically, I believe they'll pay for school for up to 36 months, and then you get a stipend every month. Those are pretty great benefits. It does, yeah, it does give you a head start in life if you choose to go that route.
And did you ever regret joining?
No, not at all. I met some great people in the military. I had some great experiences. Got drunk so many times. It was great. I loved it, and I'm not saying I would go back. I'm too old right now. It's a good one back then, but yeah, I do not regret one thing. It was great.
Okay, and okay, you said you have no regret, but if there's one thing you could have, you think, is there anything you think you could have done different? Like, if you had a chance to go back, you would change, or
Maybe join sooner.
mm,
When I joined, I was 7, and then I had to join with 18, 17 years old. Felt it. But no, I'd say I made the right decision at the time in my life, and it served me well. So I do not regret anything. It was pretty good for me, though. The military has been good to me.
and how do you manage being away for so long from your family?
That was tough because you do have to move every now and then. When you go to boot camp, you're away for 4 to 6 months, and then you go to school to learn whatever you're going to be doing in the military. And you have to go to training uh, to the desert or to the marshes, to the swamp, and then train and be away for your family. Uh, with the friends I made, they help you cope, and then you get busy with work. So you don't really have time. I'm not saying that I forgot about my family, but you get so busy sometimes, you're not really thinking about, hey, I wonder what they're doing.
Got it. Now back to the question we skipped. What would you say that your biggest compliment has been so far?
Say people always compliment me on my outlook on life, but I always try to be positive, even in the midst of the tragedy like what happened in Afghanistan. You got to keep going. You can't just curl up and die. If things gonna happen, like a couple of weeks ago, the earthquake in Haiti, you can't just give up. I believe that we will prevail. We're resilient, and as human beings, we've been around for a long time, and we're still here. So I would say whatever we've been doing has been working. So I always try to keep a positive attitude, to look at the world with a positive mindset. that has worked for me.
Thank you so much for all your great advice. And my last question will be, where can I know you're on Facebook, Instagram. If anybody might have any question afterward or regarding joining or anything else regarding the Army, the Navy, where can they reach out to you?
My my name on both Facebook and Instagram is Jerry Macandal, like my hero Macandal, Makandal. Hope to see you guys soon. And thank you for having me, Joanne.
Thank you so much for saying yes to this, and it was great. Thank you everybody for joining, and once again, thank you for your service, for all the sacrifice that you made for this country, for us, and and yeah, and I'll see you guys next week.
Thank you, Joanne. Have a great Sunday.
All right,
Thank you,
have a
guys.
great Sunday.
All right.
Bye.